Hey y'all, it's Heather, and it's time to geek out. So it's time to geek out about Battlestar Galactica Season 2. I'm so excited that I get to talk about Season 2 today, and I'm going to be talking about Episode 1 through 13, because I didn't realize how many episodes Season 2 had in it. So I broke it down. I stopped. It took a lot of willpower, but I stopped at the 13th episode, and so I can talk about the first half of the season, and then I can continue on and talk about the second half of the season. So I did take notes, so I won't be a rambling fool like I was last time. So here we go. So the first season, and full spoilers on Season 2 and Season 1. So the Season 1 ended with Captain Adama getting shot by Cylon Sharon, and I was shocked. It was a complete surprise, and I realized that this series was going to be very twisty and turny, and it's actually able to surprise me, which I've definitely realized that TV nowadays, they just don't do a lot of surprising anymore. So not a lot of originality. So I was really wondering if he was going to survive. I mean, are they going to pull a Joss Whedon and just kill off one of the main characters in the first season? I really didn't know. So after he got shot, the second in command, we'll call him the drunk because I cannot remember his name, steps up to try to be the boss. And he thinks he wants that position, but he was horrible at it. He failed at command, of course, and that was not a surprise to probably anyone. So I really enjoyed the tension between the president and the commander, in the political aspect that the show is spotlighting. So I loved the tension between her and everyone else, and that they continue the storyline that she's dying, and that they didn't like, oh, she's dying any moment, but it's going to be a while, type of thing. So I definitely was wondering if we could really and truly trust Sharon the Cylon. I think they did a really good job of putting that doubt in your head, and is she really on, Hilo's side? Does she have, ulterior motives? Is she really turning good? Is she, sleeper agent like the other Sharon? Is she really pregnant? I loved that because it really kept me on the edge of my seat. So speaking of Hilo and the planet, so when Starbuck goes down to find the arrow for the president to find Earth, she gets in that really good episode where she wakes up at the hospital and she thinks that she is with other survivors, and it turns out that they're Cylons. So and they did a procedure on her. Well, the episode that I'm at, episode 13, they have not addressed whether they did, if they implanted something in her or not. So I'm still wondering about that, about what's going to happen. And I like how they put that kind of in the background and really didn't bring it up again. I'm hoping that that's not just like a loose end, that they're never going to touch on that subject. But I have a feeling they just have that their back pocket, and it's going to come up. So right after that, the question is, Apollo loves Starbuck? So that was a really cute scene when she called him out on that, when he said that he loves her. And, was he saying, in a friend way, like, I love you, I care about you, I care about what happens, or I love you as in I love you. So, I liked that. One of my favorite episodes of so far of this season was the episode where they build the Blackbird ship together. It actually brought a tear to my eye. I actually got a little weepy at the end there when everybody on the ship kind of just decided to work together, because there was a lot of, with martial law and everything else, a lot of things were happening where the crew was being divided, like who's a Cylon, who's not a Cylon, everybody's on edge. So everybody comes together to work on the Blackbird. I was very, very devastated when the Blackbird got destroyed. So, the stealth ship. So hopefully, now that they know how to build it, they will build more. So another thing that I think the series is doing a really good job is that whenever everything starts going well, they do a complete 180 and everything goes to hell. Like when the new leader shows up to I'm drawing a blank. The admiral shows up to take command from Captain Adama. So, that just kind of, and that actress, I don't know her name, but I know she was, of course I recognized her from Star Trek The Next Generation. She's a really good actress, and I enjoyed her kind of camaraderie with Starbuck, because Starbuck is kind of like an outsider. She always feels like an outsider, like she's respected, but not really. I think she feels like she doesn't get the respect she deserves. But the fact that she goes rogue a lot, that can kind of throw the wrench into things of people respecting you, and that this new admiral, I think she kind of saw herself in Starbuck. So she kind of wanted to take her under her wing. So I was like a little conflicted with that, because I was like, yay for Starbuck, but then, Captain Adama was like, she's gotta go. We gotta get rid of her. And the fact that Starbuck was able to, forget, her feelings towards this new lady, this new mentor, this new, someone that she has camaraderie with, and go with Captain Adama's plan to kill her. She was going to go through with it. So that was shows how loyal Starbuck truly is. So another thing that the series brought up was, is a Cylon a person or a toaster? What rights do they have as prisoners? How should we treat them? Is it, abuse if we abuse them, or are they, do they have a soul? Is it, Sharon's baby, whether to abort it or not, because it could cause a threat. I loved all that. It was really interesting, and I truly enjoyed that. So, the Chief and Halo stopping Sharon's rape. That was just awesome. That they knew that there was probably going to be consequences, and they didn't care. They did what they had to do. Unfortunately, the guy hit his head and died. That wasn't their fault, but that was really cool. I really liked that a lot. So, question towards the end, getting to around episode 13, you know, Sharon's baby's blood curing President Rosalind, but at what cost? Yes, she's cured, but what side effects will she have, as any, if any? You know, that was awfully quick for her to be cured, so I'm kind of curious about how that storyline is going to come into play. And then, of course, President Rosalind, in her fever dream, when she was dying, remembers seeing Dr. Baltar in number 6 the day she was diagnosed with cancer. Really haven't touched much on Dr. Baltar in number 6. Their storyline still isn't my favorite. I understand her purpose. You know, she's his conscience. Well, anyway, you know the word I'm trying to say. And then, but I mean, I applaud Trisha Hefner's performance of the other clone of her, who was the prisoner of the Admiral's ship. You know, great performance. Also, you know, you think that she's innocent. You think that, and it turns out she has ulterior motives and my battery ran out. Fun. Okay, so number 6. We're talking about number 6. So, you know, the clone of number 6, does she have ulterior motives? You know, you're wondering, what's really going on with her, and so I really enjoyed Battlestar Galactica season 2 all the way up to episode 13, like I said. You know, what's really cool is that the series was originally in 2004, and I really can totally see that some of the themes that they have in the show are still relevant today. And I really wish that I would have watched it back then, but I didn't. But now I'm enjoying it, so I will be watching more of the season, the second half of the season this weekend. I also have some other videos planned. I want to do movies that surprise me, the movies that have surprised me this year. I'm going to do a list of that and some other things. So, thanks for watching, and remember, it's okay to geek out.